Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are really close on carpet, so I want to show you how to make sure your cut edge off of the roll is exactly straight so you don't end up being short in a wall. Stick around and see how we do it. Okay, so again in this video we're going to show you how. You guys ever come across a room that's like really square? I know, don't overlook my drawing there because I'm not real good at drawing, but say you got a square room and you'll have 3 inches up this wall right here, and say right across the room you're going to have like 1 inch, which is extremely close, and then over here you're going to have 3 inches again, and then over here you're going to have 1 inch. Yet these two side walls here are perfectly straight with the factory edges of the carpet. You're like, why is it like that? Well, the end of the carpet will be cut crooked. So, and if you're not watching it on the end, if you're cutting the whole house of carpet, every single one of these rooms will be the exact same way. They'll look like the carpet actually needs to twist just a little bit to straighten it up according to the end cuts right here. But then that throws off your factory edge here. If you have to row cut in doorways, say you got a doorway right here and you have to row cut down and there's a hallway right here, you got to keep everything straight. So if you're doing a whole house of carpet, it's always good to check your end to make sure that it's cut straight to begin with before you make your first cut, because like I said, all your cuts on the whole house will be crooked if you don't correct this on the very first cut, or you could correct it on the second cut or something if you notice it. But every cut that you go with it uncorrected, it's just going to be like that throughout the rest of the cuts. So I'm going to show you how to cut it, or else if you're extremely close on carpet and you need it to be perfectly straight here and perfectly straight here, because you can only allow like 1 inch or 1.5 inches up on the walls because you're real close, which is in my case here. I'm going to show you how to make sure these ends are perfectly straight here before you make your cut. That way when you line these walls here, you know you're going to be good and you don't have to worry about nothing running off, and that's going to prevent you from being short. Because if you like this end right here, for instance, on my side is a couple inches longer. So I want to show you how to take care of that, and that way you can make your cuts extremely close without being short in a particular corner without twisting your carpet out of whack. Okay? Okay, so once again I already checked this because I am close on carpet, so I already checked the end and I did see that it was crooked, so that's why I wanted to point this out, how to straighten it up and make sure that this end cut is straight so that my next piece is straight as well, because I've only got like 1.5 inches or 2 inches maybe to leave up a wall. Typically I like to leave about 3 inches or a little bit more maybe, depending on how much carpet I have. In this case, I'm pretty close, so I definitely want to make sure that this cut is nice and straight so that I can get everything squared up right without being short on one particular corner because it's running off the wall. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take this edge right here and fold it straight back, and this is the key thing right here, is to make sure that these edges right here are flush. The piece that you folded over here, the backing, you want to go by the backing and make sure you can just kind of put your hand there and feel and make sure this piece that you folded over is flush with the bottom piece right there. Okay, and then what you want to do is mash this down flat. Then you got this straight, and take your tape measure, mash it down flat, stick it right on the end. You got your piece right here nice and flat, so you can get a nice accurate measurement on how much you got right here from the end of the tape measure to here. And in this instance I have 25 3/4. I want to come over here on the other side and do the exact same thing, and we'll see how much we got right here. Again, I want to double check my sides just to make sure they're even right here, and mash it flat. And then I'm going to put my tape measure right on the end again and pull it over. And okay, so looking right here, I am 24.5. So this end is cut about 1.25 inches. That end is about 1.25 inches long. So I want to come down there and mark that end again, exactly what this end is. So obviously, since that's more, you got to make it shorter to match this. You can't add to this and make it longer. So we're going to take the extra off of the long end. So this was 24.5. So I'm going to come down here and mash that flat again, double checking always to make sure this stays straight so we can get a good accurate measurement. Okay, and I am going to hold my tape measure right there and put me a mark 24.5, because that's exactly what the opposite end was. I'm going to take my chalk line now, stick it in that loop right there and where I just cut it in the slit, and you'll really get an eye for how crooked it is after I do this. So this is just a little tip here too, because you don't want the carpet to raise up as you pull on it tight to get a chalk line. So I will just set my tape measure there. You don't have to put a tremendous amount of pressure on it. Okay, so again, I'm going to go right to the edge here. I'm going to pop this line right there, and this. Okay, now I got my line, and after I make that cut, my end is going to be perfectly straight, and I'm not going to have to worry about it running off. So I'll cut this off here now, right on my chalk line, and you'll be able to see the dramatic difference on how crooked it was as I make my cut up through there. You'll see what it dwindles down from about 1 inch to nothing as I cut my way across here. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see right here, we got about 1 inch here, and I ended up with nothing on the other end. I'll lay this out here and you can see the difference with it laying like that. Maybe it's hard to tell because it's so bright. Anyway, now that you can see how crooked it was there, pull that up out of the shadow of my van. This goes all the way down to nothing, and it starts at about 1 inch. So there you go.